We got a rematch versus our round 1 opponent, who was on the weird PO Storm list. This hand is quite bad. It doesn't really do anything, and it has a bunch of do-nothing cards in it. So we're gonna throw this one back. This hand's much better. That's fair. You do get some. So there's some upside to. There's some upside to relaxing for a test. Definitely can earn some points that way. That's an interesting one. It doesn't really do anything though, so we're just gonna put it back to the bottom. That is. Currently, we're looking for a paradoxical outcome. He's just gonna force this? That's fine. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, Mana Crypt is one of the most powerful cards PO has, but it's just better to force the PO in the end, I think. I think that was a very aggressive forcible, but we'll see how it pays off for him. I'm interested to see. It does make any kind of draw we have of PO, like, much worse. Because we can't cast it. Blue-black Night's Whisper. Yeah, you got a Night's Whisper. I mean, it cost you a card, so really just kind of cycled. We're in some trouble here. Our cards are not exactly lining up the way we'd like them to. Getting a little punished for having so many islands against the deck that doesn't actually care that we have so many islands. Yeah, catch you later, man. Thanks for stopping by. I'll probably play through this league, so I should be after you're done with dinner. That's an interesting draw. So we're gonna keep spinning in a way where we don't have any fetch lands or any deck manipulation, so we're very much on use the top cards of our deck in the correct order. We have multiple spins per turn, so what we'll do is we'll leave our force on top so that we could, if we needed to, tap our top to draw force and have force for like a potential paradoxical outcome or something like that. We know that we have Demonic Tutor and Underground Sea, so we're gonna respin at the end of turn, put the Underground Sea on the top of our library. That way we can cast our Demonic Tutor when we eventually draw it on the next turn after spinning the force back to the top and spinning it the other way. Repeal on our Mox. Yeah, like that's fine. He's like trying to find some action, it seems, but it's really good news for us that he doesn't really have any action. So let's do draw, spin. We're still seeing the same thing, so we're gonna keep floating our force on top. And then next turn we're gonna demonic for something. I haven't exactly figured out what we're demonicking for. It's probably just Ancestral. We might need to use our top to get Force of Will back up when we demonic. We can always wait another turn as well. Yeah, you got a Soul Ring. I don't really think there's better things we can get right now. I guess we don't actually really need the Force of Will backup. I think we can just go get a Ancestral here. I think it's fine. This really sets up for a good Yawgmoth's Will later. We have an Ancestral and a Crypt in our yard. Pretty nice. Let's just play a Ponder. Ooh. Remora is an interesting one. I think I'm going to draw the Preordain, so I have Force of Will fodder. We're looking really good now. It's kind of likely that I just Force of Will an Artifact if he plays one here as well. Time Walk's fine though. I believe next turn we're just casting Paradoxical Outcome. That's an awkward one. Let me just take a look again what we're working with here. We have another Force of Will on top. This is also a bit of an aggressive Force of Will, but I kind of like it. Because we have Force of Will on top, we're protected from him forcing back and then going for a PO, so I kind of like where we're at. If we have to use our PO, it's not really the end of the world. We just have a Yawgmoth with an Ancestral, so I'm like pretty okay with this one. I actually think the value Yawgmoth is going to happen this next turn. He's going to Twist. Twist is really bad for us. We did a lot of work in setting this board state up. I would rather not Twist. So he can force back here and then we have no choice, but I knew I had Jet, so fine. We're a little short of Demonic for Vault Key. Demonic for Vault Key costs 6 total mana. We're only at 4 right now. So I think I'm just gonna play. I mean, we should still Demonic. I'm not actually sure what we're Demonicing for now, though. We have a Lotus left in our deck. We don't have a PO, though. We can take an extra turn. that good? I don't want to get killed by a storm kill on the turnaround here. Interesting. I'm actually not sure what the correct play here is. We can always get a Tolarian as well. I don't believe I've played a land this turn. Tolarian lets us do a lot of work, actually. I'm kind of in for that. I don't know if this is correct, but I'm going to try to play this one. I should have used my top first. That was a little bit of a mistake. I found one, so we're good here. Oh, we're not exactly good here. Yeah, we're good here. Alright, and then we win the game. I think it was some slight missequencing during that, but it's not so big of a deal that we can't just win anyways. This deck's so busted. I forgot we're playing against Always Play It Out Jonathan, which I respect. Just gonna take a long time. Storm count 32. Alright, we now have infinite turns. We'll go get a Blightsteel to end this nice and fast. Now I have to pitch a bunch of cards. And then we infect him. So if I was playing in a tournament, I probably would have just gotten like a mentor or something and tried not to show him very much, but we've already played this matchup, so we know exactly what's happening. We're boarding out Blightsteel, and we're boarding out Tinker, and we're boarding in Traps. And we're going back in. Hmm. Alright, going into round 2 versus Jonathan. We've got a hand that has Force of Will and not much else going on, but we have a lot of cantripping spells. I think this is like one of the more borderline hands you can keep. It certainly doesn't do very much right away, but having a piece of permission versus PO is pretty important. And I think that the amount of spells we have to generate some advantages here is like pretty strong. So we're missing a few pieces to start like really gaining an edge, but this is pretty good as well, I think. The problems with this hand are is if my opponent's hand is just much better than ours. If he plays a bunch of Moxes and then POs on turn 1, it's like pretty unfortunate. 2 Mox Night Whisper is pretty good as well. The last time we let this Demonic Tutor resolve, we really paid for it. But I still think it's correct to let it resolve. For those who weren't watching, we played this opponent round 1, and he turn 1 Demonic Tutor that we let resolve, and he ended up empty the Warring us when we had a Force of Will back up. Same thing could happen here. So we do know that this guy's a bit of a maniac, and he does fit. Sure, alright. He certainly went through a lot of cards and built up a pretty significant mana base. If his PO got a Flusterstorm, or if his Demonic got a Flusterstorm, it puts us in a really bad situation. And he is going to leave up Pyroblast here. We're definitely very far behind in this with this setup. This game should turn out either really interesting or I'm just going to get blown apart. Is he going to Ancestral on my upkeep with the thing he Demonic Tutored for? He did not. I'm just leading with Preordain here. We need to start figuring out how to build an advantage, and we're very far down on permanence and real estate. And we don't really have any cards that go off on him currently. We have like some pseudo protection and Force of Will, but it's just not going to be good enough if he has multiple things going on. I definitely want a Sapphire. I kind of want a Hercules Recall as an extra play against PO. Though it plays into Empty the Warrens pretty badly. I don't need to draw it right now. Possible I just don't want it and I can brainstorm it back into my deck later. Still don't think I'm supposed to force this. Reacting to these tutors is just like really bad value. I mean, free slag, that's a decent point. It depends on how he taps though. I think we're really being punished for the hand we kept. I mean, he can just use it for red and use his blue mana source and bring back all of his things if he was like really playing around it, which would be very unlikely because you want to hold up but it's not like super unlikely either because he could be holding up Pyroblast. So like he can tap all 5 of his sources, his Mox for red, and PO his 4 cards back leaving red open. I really think that it's quite possible that the hand that we kept was just a mulligan. It was pretty borderline when I talked about it, but I think even now it shows like you're showing the real problems that this hand has. I kind of wish I had mulligan for a stronger hand. I mean, that is my plan. Yes, free slag, I agree. That is the reason we sequenced like this. I think what's gonna happen is I think we're just gonna get empty the warrant, which is unfortunate. I think countering this is just wrong though, so I mean, maybe it's not. We know he demonicked for 1 card, and he ancestraled for another. If the card he demonicked for or ancestral for was Yawgmoth's Will, it's not even that bad, but it certainly makes. My feeling here is that I'm actually going to counter this. It's going to be kind of hard to articulate why I think we should do that, but I'm going to. What is white? Is he going to PO in response? That's like the best possible thing that can happen for us here, right? I mean, we're gonna get wrecked by an empty, but that means he had just like 3 insane cards, right? I mean, we're making our plays, so this is gonna end up with he draws no cards, has 4 Moxes to play, and his 1 card in hand. So, I mean, I kind of like how this played out for us. We're about to see what level he's on though. Seems like we got there. It's pretty good impressive actually. I didn't think that was gonna happen. Alright, we have our plan. He just has to not draw not draw PO. I think the mentor line is slightly better than going and getting a dig or something. We really want to put pressure on him. And this puts a great deal of pressure on him. I don't know. It's a little awkward sequencing this section. That's a decent draw. I think I'm going to lead with Preordain, though. It's pretty hard to play around any kind of counter spells with this Time Walk. That's a good one. Let's see if he's got anything going on. He's got Tendrils Lotus, so yeah, we're in really good shape now. I should have held that Emerald. That was a bit of a misplay. If I wanted to kill him this turn, next turn. So I think I should have held that Emerald. Then I would have had lethal. It was a pretty bad missequencing. I can always just cast this, and with any number being 0, though. So I guess I still have lethal no matter what. Yeah, I guess that's fine then. Alright. We've really taken it to Jonathan tonight.